Well, the decision to vaccinate children as young as 5 years old has not been an easy one for many families.
Jessica Moore sat down with a group of parents along with a pediatrician to talk about their concerns.
I have two toddlers myself. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, so I get it. I get that there are questions. We all are vaccinated. You had to be to get in the broadcast center. But when you think about giving your kids the shot, there are more questions that go into making that decision.
4 moms split right down the middle about whether to give their kids the COVID vaccine.
I don't like putting tons of things into their bodies without knowing how they're going to react to it. What are the long-term effects? It just makes me hesitant to give them something so new.
My biggest concern stems from the fact that being a person of color, we're naturally, I think, a little more apprehensive about being vaccinated and not getting the full story, or feeling like we're not getting the full story, right? Now we have vaccines and taking our voice away. My concerns, you know, I'm not readily just on the front of the line to say, here's my children.
And so when you say taking your voice away, what do you mean by that?
Well, we all started where the world was burning down. Everyone was, was dying. The whole world was dying. And then it felt like we woke up, and then there's a vaccine for adults, which is great, right? And then fast forward, now there's a vaccine for children. It just seems so fast.
The wonderful thing about vaccines is that we do understand them. Even the mRNA vaccines, these vaccines have been worked on as far as studying in the outside public throughout not just the United States, but in other countries for over 20 years. This research is not that new. I think there's no risk-free choice. So what happens if we don't give the vaccine? What happens if our child gets COVID and we failed as moms to protect them? What happens if they get multi-system inflammatory syndrome with children? This is real. What happens if they get long COVID and 6 months later, even though they didn't have symptoms at the time, 6 months later they have joint pain and fatigue, and they can't play soccer the way they were supposed to play soccer? I'll tell you, a long time ago, I had a patient, this is about 15 years ago, and the mom didn't want to vaccinate for pertussis. And the baby, I can still picture her in her pink sweater, and she's holding her baby's hand in the intensive care unit, and what she wouldn't give to go back in time if she had the ability to vaccinate.
Did that story change any of your minds? Did it make you feel something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I immediately thought, like, oh, my God, what if that happened with COVID?
Some informative dialogue right there. And these parents had so much more to ask, including questions about infertility. The conversation continues later here in our show, so stay tuned.